Hello everybody, welcome to today's Word of the Day video. Today's word is randomness, the quality or state of lacking a pattern. Now, in order to understand this better, we're going to look at what isn't randomness. Now, this clock repeats predictably the opposite of randomness daily, and you can count on that this clock will do that and repeat consistently, which just happens to be in the same shape of our flat Earth. And here's our flat Earth map showing the shape of a clock to help you understand, which, as you see here, is in time zones, which we clearly have here on the flat Earth. And this model showing you how the sun and the moon rotate above us consistently, giving us perfect time zones, perfect clocks. And here's an overhead view. As you can see, that's how it works. And this is consistent. This is not randomness. This is the opposite. And we look up at the stars and we see the Big Dipper repeating itself yearly, always doing the same thing, not random. The stars circling around the North Pole all the time, continuously. And then we look at the North Star through the Georgia Guidestones, which has a hole in the center, which was placed in the early 80s, 40 years. And we are able to always see the stars rotate around that point, showing we have never moved. Being contained within a perfect system, always repeating, predictable, not random. So now we're going to look at what randomness is and what the mainstream tells us that we are looking at. There was nothing. And then randomly there was an explosion. And debris started shooting everywhere. This is what they tell us how things started. Then everything started to swirl. And clouds and mass and things all glommed together. Then randomness happened once again, and burning balls appeared in a vacuum. Then in the randomness of it all, rocks started flying all over the place, in all kinds of different directions. And then the inevitable would happen in a random, chaotic world, or space in this case. Things would start crashing into each other. Then in the randomness of it all, something incredible happens. Two spheroids crash into each other and go bang and splatter and make a huge mess in the vacuum of space, and just kind of sit there for a minute until something happens that's out of this, well, you can't say world, out of this space. They start swirling around in a random circle, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere comes this burning circle and holds it all in place, out of nowhere. There it is. And then clouds start to form. Remember, they tell you out of randomness, this will happen. It'll just start to happen. Scientists want to break it all down for you and tell you how it all happens. Just remember, though, it came from nothing randomly. Then it started to spin, and spin perfectly out of randomness and turned blue. Just like that, it turned blue. Of course, they're going to tell you over hundreds of millions of years. But remember, out of randomness, this all took place. This is what they want you to fall for. And then all the land masses started to join together. I mean, it's amazing out of randomness that all this takes place. And they become one continent called Pangea, which made it easy for all the critters to get together, so that when it spreads out later and creates the world that they say you live in today, then everything could spread out evenly and cover the whole area of what they call a globe when we know it's a flat plane. But you see, this is all taking place out of randomness. And they want you to believe so much, so many impossibilities. It's absolutely perfectly full of nonsense. If you want to say their side is perfect, it's perfectly full of nonsense. But God's side is a perfect clock in all ways, and God shows his handiwork.